Hello to my four wonderful viewers on YouTube. Today, I'm going to show you some great advice, something with the mindset, and how I could change your perspective on how you see the charts. So, earlier today, I was mentoring somebody, right? They were talking to me about opportunities in the market, scalping, right? So, he had this line drawn out. Now, guys, please remember this is someone new, so don't bully them for drawing these types of lines. They could be valid sometimes, but please be nice. Everyone starts somewhere, right? And pretty much he was talking to me about, you know, buying somewhere in like areas down here, areas here, right? And cashing out every time it goes to the top. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to look at the market, right? And I was like, why would you buy in those areas? Because he's like, oh, I have this trend line drawn out. Just to let you guys know, he had it a little bit better drawn out than me, but I don't remember exactly how it was, but it was something more or less like this. And he pretty much said, oh, when it goes near the line, I buy. And then when it goes near the other line, I sell, right? I'll take my profit. So pretty much he was doing something like this every time, right? Touch the line. And I was like, okay, cool. That's interesting. And then I told him, why would you not wait for a retracement and sell? He's like, why would I do that? And obviously, this is hindsight now, but I broke it down to him, right? I said, okay, let's do an analysis. What can we see? If we go on the daily, so you can see we went up, and then for 2 days in a row, we tried creating newer highs, which we did, but we failed in terms of closing candles. So we were closing below this candle for 1 day and 2 day. So what does that indicate? That hey, every time we try to push price up, we're failing to close above this. That means we're slowly going down, correct? Then I said, if I were him, I'd break it down in a smaller time frame. Then I said, this is when trading, this is when you separate yourself from like the average trader to the next level, looking at the context of the market. So what can we see? There's multiple wicks here. It breaks down. It breaks this structure here, right? It goes below it. Oh, it tries to go up again. It fails. And then you can see for multiple hours, it's rejecting. Price keeps going lower and lower, right? You're like, okay, maybe there could be a rebound off this area, right? And there is, but nowhere near as high. And if we look at the 4 hour, right, we reach this area where we go up and then we keep failing, right? We go up and the same thing. But overall, you can tell when we take away the wicks, we are pretty much failing to go up higher, keep going lower. We pretty much just keep going lower and lower. When you look at the 4 hour, right, you have this, you have this, correct? So we pretty much keep closing lower and lower. So I was like, now that we know we're overall trending down, and obviously now this whole thing is hindsight, right? But you can tell we're failing to go higher than this level, this level, this level. And he said he caught this channel early on, right? He was already looking at it here. He said he got in, it went up somewhere here, and then this candle happened. And he's like, he got scared because he's a new trader, and that's fair. And honestly, it's good that he got scared because if he didn't get scared, this would have turned into a loss. So I told him, right, now that you know this information and you see overall the channel is going down, because I asked him, what did you notice here, right? He said, oh, I noticed it going down. But every time it bounced off this line here, it went up. And then pretty much bounced off this line, went down. We can overall see it's going down. So I'm like, why would you take the risks? Why would you take the risk for buying when you could wait for a good sell opportunity? Right? If we draw this out like this, pretty much, if I buy here, if I buy, let's say here, I'm a perfect trader. If I buy somewhere here, my max profit is here, right? Then we're going to go down. At one point, we're going to be break even. Then we're going to be back into slight profits, negative, right? Then we're almost going to be at break even, but then we're going to keep just going down and down. If you're scalping, you shouldn't be in this that long anyway. You should just have a stop loss somewhere below it. So he would have gone out. He would have had pretty much one good opportunity, to make money, one opportunity pretty much to break even, a little bit of profits. I guess you could argue one last chance to break even, and then it slams down, he loses, correct? So I said, hey, let's look at the other perspective if you were taking sells. If you sold, let's say somewhere here, sure, it would have been a little bit of drawdown. But then you're in nice heavy profits. Slight pullback, you're still making over like pretty much 50%. Oh, right? Pretty good. Slight pullback. Like you would have been clear. At no point are you in drawdown other than this little pullback if you got in at the line. And then profit, 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 profit. You have so much potential, so many areas to take profit if you kept holding, right? Even at the chart right now, you could have taken profit here, here. Obviously, at that point, it's not scalping, it's intraday trading, but you guys get the point. He would have had so many more opportunities just to take it out, and he would have been fine. And if we used the exact same rules for the other setup where he got in at the best price, he would have never been in drawdown. He would have never been in break even. It's only green from here. I was explaining to him, the trend is literally always your friend, right? Even if, let's say, this coin's overall trend was to go up, if he's scalping in this current time, it's going down. If he were to enter here, he has one opportunity to cash out nicely. Opportunity to break even, get a little bit of profits, break even again, loss. 2 break evens, 1 profit, and 1 little bit of profit. While on the other side, if he would have gotten here, it's heavy profit, around 50%, 60% profit. It's heavier profit. Is just so much better. Not to mention that, let's say if you would have bought every dip, here, nice pullback. Here, not so much. Here, just a little bit. There's only like little pullbacks, right? There's only little pullbacks. So not only are you going to get less, there's a smaller time period, and you're trading against the trend. You're making it so much harder for yourself. So it's super, super important to understand what is happening in the market and to ask yourself, how can I make these trades easier and more probable with potentially even more profit? So if we notice a channel going down like this, why wait for it to potentially bounce off this line or a good amount and for it to go up when we could just sell off the trend line and pretty much always make money? If we literally bought every time, pretty much every time, sorry, not bought, if we sold every time, it more or less touches the trend line, we could have made so many nice profits, so much nice profit, multiple percentages. Let's say you're using 1% risk per trade, and like you're like, okay, 1%, like, and you're scaling it in and you're letting it go. And your ideology is, okay, the moment one trade goes into negatives, I cash out everything, right? If you got in here and it starts going negative, let's say, since you're following the trend, you're like, okay, it shouldn't really go much higher than this. This is somewhere, it's going to go lower than this, right? My take profits somewhere like this. So you have like a pretty much a 1-to-3 ratio. Oh, you get knocked out. Oh, this is a little bit scary. Even this trade you're in for a very long time already, it's still a 1-to-1 if you cash it out here. Hell, even if you got really scared, you make 0.3% on this one. Not ideal. However, all the other ones, you're still in heavy, heavy profit. So let's say this is more or less how all your positions would look like. I actually missed out on a position here, but it doesn't matter. The point is you get it, right? And obviously, this is on good entries and not getting slightly wigged out. So it's not gonna be as good as this in most scenarios, but it's still gonna be fairly good. So you have one trade that made 6.45 times your money. You have one trade that made pretty much a 1-to-5. So you're up pretty much 11.5%. Then let's just say we combine the decimals for these two. So you're up another 4. So you're 15.5, 17.5, almost 19, right? You're almost up 19% scaling into this each time. Minus the 1%, you're still up 18% with all these positions scaling in. And your game plan was, okay, I'm going to keep scalping and scaling in until one of my positions hit stop and I'm cashing out everything, right? If that was your game plan. you still could have made so much money. Now, what is the point of this? Why am I talking about this? Well, because it's very simple. You can keep following the trend until the trend is no longer relevant. And if something like this was your strategy, even if you entered on a few less positions, let's take away this good one. Let's just say you entered on 2 positions, right? On 3 positions, let's say. So you lost the one and then you still had these two. This pretty much would have been 9% minus the percent you lost. You're still up 8%. Of course. And the thing is, you could have been up way more if you scaled in and you sold way lower, right? You're like, oh, where could a possible reversal be? But I'm just saying, if this was your strategy, you're like, as soon as it hits my first stop loss on the latest entry, I'm gonna cash out. You still could have been up 8%. So it's so important to trade with the trend and to know your game plan. Trading doesn't have to be super complicated. I'm not saying it's super easy, but there are certain things, if you follow and you're able to see the market for what it is, it makes it so much easier. Like I showed you, he could have been buying the dip and selling it when it went a little bit up, but that's so much more stressful because you're trading against the trend. You see what happens when you flip it? You realize, oh, the trend is down. Why won't I sell every pullback? Right? It makes it so much more easier. Now, this may seem like basic info, and to a certain extent, it is basic info. But the thing is, not everyone will see the market the same. And hopefully, this showed you perspective and open up your eyes. Because in the private mentorship, when I was talking to him about this, he's like, literally, this is the best thing you've ever told me. And it seems like super obvious, super common sense. And although it is sometimes, although some information is, it could just go by our nose. It's nothing. Like we'll never know or we'll never see it until someone explains it to us, gives examples, and opens a whole new perspective. And this is why I'm showing you guys, because whether you're starting out or you've been in it for a couple days, weeks, or months, or even years, maybe you never understood this perspective, and this video could help you. And it could be the difference of you being a non-profitable trader to a profitable trader, from making maybe just 2-3% a month to maybe 5-6-7-10% a month. I don't know how much this video will impact you, but simple information like this with someone breaking it down and showing you examples, there's a chance that you could flip the switch in your head, and now for life you're going to be able to see the markets for this way. You're like, damn, it was there in front of me the whole time. Why didn't I see this? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new. See you guys next time.